Auburn, of course, the home court has been incredible with the advantage of 69-game winning streak here at CLA for the #2 team in the land. But today's also about the GOAT, the greatest of all time to wear the garnet and black. A'ja Wilson, moments ago, her jersey retired in the Raptors, her name on the floor here at Colonial Life Arena. An emotional ceremony commemorating and celebrating one of the greatest we have seen in the history of college basketball. A'ja Wilson, the jersey retired. Nobody will wear the number 22 for South Carolina again. With Tamika Catchings, the Hall of Famer, I'm Roy Philpott. A'ja was emotional. Her parents were here. A great scene in Columbia. What was your reaction?
Well, first, I was just trying to make sure that I didn't start crying, but what an honor to be here to witness one of the greatest players that has ever set foot here for the Gamecocks. Her legacy, not only on the court, but even more importantly off the court, lives on forever.
She will join us to begin our second quarter today. Stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for the #2 team in the land. They go 9 deep, and it's essentially 9 starters for head coach Dawn Staley this year.
It definitely could be 9 starters. Their versatility, what they bring every single night. No player averages more than 25 minutes. It's normally between 15, 25 minutes per game. The balanced scoring, definitely a scouting report madness, and being able to guard these young ladies, absolutely phenomenal. You never know which player is going to step up, but when their number is called, they are ready to perform.
And one thing is certain for head coach Dawn Staley, all 9 can defend at an elite level. It's year 17 in Columbia for her, 3 national championships, trying to make it #4 this year, and lo and behold, they just may have the team to accomplish that feat.
Well, you definitely have to look at that and just what they bring to the table. Starting 5, you got another starting 5 on the bench. Any single player can step up. But on the flip side, when you look at this Auburn Tiger team, Deanna Gaston right there, number 5, coming off of an 18-point performance in Auburn's win Florida on Sunday. She will bring the heat, definitely put the team on her shoulders, and is trying to figure out a way to will this team to victory.
Year 4 for Johnny Harris. Her team made the big dance last year, rebuilding somewhat this year, battling injuries this campaign. But as Tamika mentioned, off their most impressive win of the year thus far, a resounding victory against Florida. And some new faces in the starting 5 for head coach Johnny Harris as well. As Auburn wins the opening tap, and the Tigers go to work. Marshawn Bostic. And what a scene, what an environment, and what a day to celebrate one of the greatest players we've ever seen, not only in the SEC, but nationally, in A'ja Wilson. Here's the steal, Raven Johnson.
Raven Johnson is just phenomenal for this team. You'll see her on the defensive end. When she gets going, she gets the whole team going, and Shania Fagan, first player on the board.
Fagan's numbers have really taken off after the injury to Ashlyn Watkins. She has been instrumental in this surge for Carolina in the last couple of weeks after their only loss to UCLA.
Well, they have grown as a team since that loss. In the last 5 games, they have played top-tier teams, so you can only imagine how much they've even grown since then.
Yeah, the majority of those wins coming against top 25 programs, and all but one of those victories by double digits. Chloe Kitts tries to get it to Raven Johnson, and he is intercepted by Auburn. Bostic on the move.
And Marshawn Bostic coming off an 11-assist game, so you'll see her distribute the ball. But she's done a really good job the last couple of games, really getting to the basket, finding a way to get to the free throw line.
Sumbani off the mark with a baseline jumper. Still 2-0 South Carolina.
What I love about this South Carolina team is that they don't force plays to happen. That was one thing Coach Staley talked about coming off of a break. Last time they played was Thursday, and Pow to the basket, but they're patient with their set. They move the ball, they find the openings, they find the open players. That is what makes them so good.
And we were here about 10 days ago for that victory against LSU. Tahina Pow had a behind-the-back, over-the-head pass. A wide-open 3 by Tessa Johnson in the corner. Her ability to make the big play in the big moment, I want to say with a little bit of flair, but a little bit more than what you normally see. It's been fun to watch how she's developed this year. And a nifty finish at the rim, the left hand moments ago.
Definitely, and Pow opted to come back for her 5th year, really trying to get yet another year under her belt to get experience. Goal is to make it to the WNBA, play overseas. So I think that definitely having some extra time helps.
Here she goes again, high off off the glass and a chance for three. What a move and what a finish.
I like the smile. You see Dawn right there giving a little wave. I don't think that's really what it is, but love seeing Tahina Paopao taking it to the basket, just going hard, and Dawn gonna get called for that foul. I'll take another look at this. Nice drive, straight line. When she gets going to the basket, it's hard to defend.
Dawn picks up the personal, three the hard way for Paopao, and a couple of early buckets for her. And it's 7-0 Carolina just like that.
Well, this was the first game that Dawn actually started. It's only her fourth game. She came to the team late, and Deanna Gaston, nice move around the basket, like that little right-hand floater off the glass.
And Tamika, she can score. She's put up huge numbers all year. Curious to see what her production looks like against a defense like the Gamecocks today.
Well, I think it's not just the defense. I mean, it's the rotation of the defense and having different players. So normally you can get one defender tired, but when you're rotating in the way that South Carolina is able to, it's hard to defend.
Hits in traffic. The fadeaway goes down. Gamecocks have yet to miss from the field. 4 for 4 to start. Boston attacking off glass.
Tahina Paopao gave her a straight line drive using the left hand. Boston definitely a right-handed player. She did a good job finishing.
Johnson, a spin off the back iron, and Gaston stepped out of bounds.
Well, since we're celebrating Asia Wilson, then we'll take another look at this Asia-type play. Chloe Kidd with this nice step back. We've seen that time and time again here on this floor from Asia, and of course, still with the Vegas Aces.
Off the pump fake, Raven Johnson, an offensive rebound, a fresh 20, Bree Hall. It was a 3, Kitts. Tied up. Gaston trying to rip it away. Kitts draws the personal foul.
Well, I think Gaston thought that was going to be a jump ball call.
I did too.
And that's really important, though, because Gaston, when she's in foul trouble, Auburn doesn't have another prime scorer like her, so you definitely always looking for ways to keep her in the game.
Swatted out of bounds by Boston. Marshawn, the senior out of St. Louis. It'll be 10 on the shot clock for South Carolina. Gamecocks off most of the week. They had that Monday tilt against the Lady Vols up in Knoxville. Return of Kim Caldwell.
And Auburn getting their hands on the ball, coming down, trying to get a good look. I think that's another thing you could talk about South Carolina. They get back on transition defense.
I don't know that I've seen a more connected team in person on that end of the court specifically than South Carolina. Let's say going back to the loss against UCLA. It's almost like that loss relieves some pressure of being undefeated in all the things of last year. Will Wiley checks in for the first time.
You know, I would agree, but I honestly think when Ashlyn Watkins went down, like the team, not that they weren't all the way together, but it was kind of like a little bit of separation when you put your hands together. What I have seen since Watkins went down is that they have closed the gap and really like they're playing like a fist and just playing connected, playing together, working harder for each other, all the little things that make a championship team.
Malaysia full Wiley to step back 3. Nearly got the bounce. Tapped out of bounds, it'll go to Auburn. Sumbani able to hold off the South Carolina defender.
Chloe Kidd does a great job. 9th in the SEC in rebounds, averaging 7.5 rebounds per game, but you will see her hand tip a lot of balls.
Gaston connects with the mid-range. 9-6. And it feels like Auburn weathered that early storm and the surge of emotion with the retirement of Asia Wilson's number 22 jersey. And halfway home in our first quarter. Entertaining start. Asia Wilson in the house. We're going to hear from her in a few minutes here in Columbia. SEC women's basketball is presented by Pfizer, the official pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine awareness sponsor of the SEC. Here in Columbia, SC led Heathwood Hall to a state championship back in 2014 for signing with Carolina in the MOP, Gamecocks' first national championship run in school history, National Player of the Year. We know about the accolades moving on to the WNBA. Most recently, a unanimous Most Valuable Player a year ago for the Las Vegas Aces. Two-time world champion with Vegas as well, Asia Wilson. Gold medalist 2 times over, 2020 and 2024. An amazing career. Tamika, she's only 28. We got a lot of great basketball ahead of her at the next level.
It's insane when you say that she is only 28 years old and all that she has accomplished. She just retired from South Carolina, or just graduated in 2018, and what she's been able to do in such a short amount of time. And the best is still yet to come for this young lady. I mean, it's every single person that we talk to about her comments on what she's been able to accomplish on the court, but it's the fun that she had. It's the way that she is as a person and in the community that people talk about most.
We asked Dawn Staley about an hour ago, what surprised you about Asia Wilson when she signed here and after she played all those games in all those seasons, 3-time All-American, SEC Player of the Year multiple times over, and she said, you know what? She thought about it for probably 30 seconds before responding. And she said, Asia always knew how to have fun. She has fun. It's different. That team was different when she was a part of this program compared to what we have now. And it was amazing for her to watch and to experience. I want to ask Asia about that to start our second quarter, but you love to hear it, to be that great, to enjoy the journey and appreciate the process. And Tamika, she's having fun in the meantime. Not necessarily easy for all of us to do something like that.
Well, it's not just the having fun, but even being able to have fun and then turn this, basically snap your fingers and be able to be serious in the moment. And Joyce Edwards, one of our up-and-coming freshmen, with that shot down low.
Speaking of potential stars, the SEC Freshman of the Week, Joyce Edwards, coming off the bench. Phenomenal. Gaston as well. A good start for her. It's 11-8.
Gaston already now with 6 points.
Backdoor cut. Full Wisely. Yes. Wanted the foul. Violation for Wiley. It's to the hard way. 13-8. Well, she makes the difficult look easy at times.
What she's able to do when she has the ball in her hand, but I like that backdoor cut, getting her an easy look at the basket.
Gaston operating outside the paint. Here's Collins. Gaston picked up by Hall, short of the mid-range. She'll get it back. And the reverse up and in, nicely done. 8 early points for number 5 for the Tigers.
Well, you know, you just look over at the bench and Dawn Staley not happy with that performance from her team. You know that that's the one player that you have to defend and keep off the board. As a team, it's a collective effort.
Raven Johnson up and in from 10.
Raven Johnson, when she gets going to the basket, she's good. She's hard to stop. This team really flows off of her. When she's doing well, you see a different type of South Carolina team.
Wiley to steal. Stolen back by Collins for Auburn. And the lob to Gaston, already 10 points on the board for Auburn's leading scorer.
Gaston alone is what's keeping them in the game. And for Wiley, nice look at the basket, not able to get it. And Chloe Kiss.
Edwards tracks it down. And a handoff to Raven Johnson on the move.
It almost looked like she went a whole different speed. Not even a hesitation. She just picked up the speed and drove right by her.
Well, the defense comes at you in waves. Even when you feel like you've secured the turnover, here comes Chloe Kicks, and now for Wiley. 2-on-1.
I can imagine that this is a play that they practice all the time. Nice 2-on-1 break. Great finish by Wiley.
Largest lead for Carolina at 7. Sumbani from downtown. Gaston tips it out to Bostic.
And one thing you know about Auburn, they are not going to give up. This is the way they play. They are constantly attacking the basket. Defensively, they switch up and play multiple defenses.
And Collins launching the mid-range. That's a 16-footer. Ahead to Edwards, ahead of the pack.
Collins hits the shot and jogs back. None of the other players recognize Joyce Edwards leading the charge, just pulling that mean literally straight to the basket.
Think about the pace to start here today. The energy in the arena, electric. Asia Wilson in the house. Who's who of college basketball and the pros in Columbia. A strong finish by Bostic. It's 21-16.
And here goes South Carolina, always looking at trying to get that transition game.
Edwards tapped inside of bounds and a turnover. And 3 substitutions for each side. Going to check in.
I like this, right? Wiley does a great job getting her hand down it. 2-on-1 break, bam, all the way to the basket for Wiley. You gotta love that. And of course, Bostic, if she gets to that right hand and goes downhill toward the basket, she's hard to guard and more than likely either gets a shot attempt at the basket or gets to the free throw line.
Gamecocks come away with it again. Edwards gets the roll. Boy, touched every inch of the rim before dropping.
Well, that's a careless play. Auburn made a bad pass. South Carolina able to get it. And a great finish.
Asia Wilson set to join us to begin our second quarter. Number 22, the jersey in the rafters, retired earlier today. No other basketball player in Columbia is going to wear that number again. Right before the horn, Sumbani count the bucket. And Auburn finishes the first quarter with a flurry. 23-18 our score. A historic afternoon in Columbia. Come back with us to CLA. Asia Wilson moments ago in between the first and second quarter as the number 22 jersey went in the rafters pregame. So glad she could join us here courtside. Tamika catching Floyd Philpott. Asia, what has this whole morning and now afternoon been like for you?
It's been amazing. Nothing short of amazing, honestly. It's been just a joy just to be back home in front of all these fans. And I mean, when I got my statue, it was COVID, so I didn't get to enjoy everyone and enjoying the statue. So now this time, it's just pure happiness.
When you look around and all of the people wearing 22, the fans in the house, what does that make you feel like?
That I did something right. I did something right. I made the right choice. I'm staying home and I'm continuing this journey being just truly me, and people are accepting me for that, and I love that because I think if we all can accept each other as our true selves and our kind selves, this world could be a much better place. And I'm just so thankful when I look up and I see everyone with the 22s from ACES to high school to college. It's a blessing. It really is.
You grew up here. You went to Heathwood Hall. You won a state championship. You decided to stay home.
Yeah.
Take us back to 2014, that decision and what that has meant to you now.
Yeah, I always say, like, if Coach Daly was anywhere, I would have probably went to go play with her. I just got lucky that she was in my backyard, and it allowed me to play in front of my grandmother for an only time, and just, you know, it's just a special, special moment that I can just grasp with everyone. So I'm grateful. It's been a huge moment, and it's crazy that we're here now, getting 22 retired.
Well, you got your Vegas people in the house. You got your South Carolina people in the house. You got your high school people in the house.
Yeah.
You got your USA basketball family in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people here to support you.
Yeah.
When you look at this team and what this program has meant, what do you see?
I see greatness. I see a culture that was built way before me by Dawn. She laid down the foundation, and I'm so grateful to see that it's continuing. The culture's building. It's unwavering, but also it's unapologetic. Right? You get what we get. God is truly grateful and special.
We asked Coach Staley before tip-off today, I said, Coach, what was one thing that surprised you about Asia once she got here? And she thought about it for maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and she said, you know what? She always had fun. How big of a deal is that to you through the process when Coach said, chase your dreams without fear, to have fun along the way?
That's what it's truly all about. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the X's and O's and the wins and losses that we lose sight of that basketball is a game. brings so many different people together. So if I can show that through my game and through my passion and love of the game and have fun while doing it, I feel like I'm right where I need to be.
As a longtime supporter of the program that fell down behind the basket, that was the reason for that delay. As the Gamecocks back in action and off the mark. There's Walker from the mid-range.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We watch Joyce Edwards, number 8 on the floor, and a lot of people talk about her and her impact as a freshman and try to compare that to you coming in as a freshman. What do you see when you see this young player out there doing, I wouldn't say Asia Wilson-like play. I don't want to say that, but just on her own journey.
It's incredible to watch. I mean, I feel like she's junior Asia, but she's 10 times better than how I was as a freshman. Just her knowledge of the game, her awareness of the game, it's something that I did not have as a freshman. So comparing her to me is doing her this sort of like she's right where, like, I love her game and how it's developing in different ways, but she's gonna be special. She's gonna be, I'm saying it now, she's gonna be the best player in the world when she gets to the level that she needs to be in. I'm saying that.
Okay.
I'm
claiming it.
10 toes down there.
10 toes down. Because I watched the video. I watched the video your dad was talking when he brought you to the first camp. He brought you to the first. He said, "Nah, I'm not gonna lie. My daughter was trash." I said, "Wow."
Trash was such a crazy line because it's like, you're my father. You're supposed to be supportive.
Well, look at you now. You're here today.
Yes.
As soon as that jersey was unfurled there in the rafters and you were standing right between them, that moment felt very emotional. What was that like in your words?
Oh, a blessing. It was truly a blessing. Obviously, they sacrificed so much for me to be here in this moment, standing here to retire the jersey. So to pay it forward for them to see that all their work has been paid off, it's been a blessing.
Well, dunked on the other end for Auburn, got that nice look at the 3-point. Edwards with a great answer.
And the jersey that went up and was unfurled about half an hour ago, right before tip-off. And this capacity crowd was roaring. The energy in the arena, I mean, it's always great, and you experienced that, but it just seems like it's gone next level the last couple of years with more national championships.
For sure. I mean, winning takes care of a lot of things, and we love that, but doing it the right way is always great.
You had a chance to visit with the team yesterday. What were some of the parting words that you said? They asked a lot of great questions from what it sounded like.
They did.
What were some of the things that you imparted on them?
Keeping the main thing the main thing. I mean, they have an opportunity to do something very special, and sometimes you can let a lot of noise seep in. You can let a lot of outsiders seep in. But if you are a close-knit group and then understand exactly what you have in your locker room, you can go a long, long way. So I just wanted them to make sure that keep the main thing the main thing. They are fully equipped with everything they need right here.
Here's Pow from distance off the mark, and Donk collects the rebound. 3-time MVP, 2-time world champion, national champion, MOP of the Final Four, all the accolades. And you just mentioned blocking out the noise. How do you do that in your position?
When you can't pass the ball to yourself.
That is a great question, but I don't do it by myself at all. I have to credit literally everyone, every teammate that I've come in contact with. I love them so dearly because, one, they put up with my foolishness and my craziness, but two, we just create bond, and they want to win, and they're so like-minded that it kind of makes my job a little easy. Like, I just need to make sure that they're good, they make sure I'm good, and we just go out there and have fun. But does it get hard? Of course, but I wouldn't want it any other way because then everybody would be doing it. So it makes it really special. So I have to shout out to every teammate that I have. When I see that jersey hanging up, it may say 22 on it, but I wish I could sketch in every teammate I've had because they have really brought my journey to life, and it's like helped me be the person that I am today.
So Roy talks a lot, asked you the questions about the thing that you have done so far. But we all know that the best is yet to come. So what is next for you?
Next, I feel like the biggest thing would have to be just a shoe. I finally get to drop my shoe. The A1 collection is ready.
And I will say,
We got the book.
I got the book. The book is I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to get it autographed right now before she leaves.
Yes, but the A1 collection is thriving, and I'm so excited to the public to finally see it. But yeah, I'm glad, and obviously the Aces, we got some business that we need to take care of. We have a chip on our shoulder. I'm sure all of my teammates cannot wait until April comes around. So I'm going to always have my shades on because the haters might be looking, but my future's going to always be bright with the right people. So I'm just grateful to be in this moment to be able to thrive. So it's time to have fun now.
And it drops in May, right?
Oh, Asia, we are grateful that you joined us. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You see, but Kelly Harper, Auburn playing pretty well right here in front of that Colonial Life crowd. How are they doing it?
Well, you have to play with very few mistakes. And one of those mistakes right now, they're making shots. They're shooting 53% from the field.
South Carolina, 63% of the field with that lead. Back to y'all.
PB, thank you very much here in Columbia. Asia Wilson, Bam Adebayo, boyfriends here as well, just a couple of seats down. And for the stars are out, we've got Wanda Sykes in the house, Becky Hammond, we mentioned, Nikki Fargas as well. And it's been an incredible atmosphere and scene in Columbia. It's what we thought it would be, but to me, it feels like it's even more than that when you're in the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, just being a part of this, of course, her teammates alongside of her. So being able to have your people, Bam Adebayo right there in between her parents. Wanda Sykes in the house. She said we just talked about that, but the crowd is going crazy. They're putting them on the big screen. And just strong supporters of women's basketball. And a lot of it here in South Carolina obviously started Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston. I mean, some of the great Tiffany Mitchell that have come out of South Carolina.
In the meantime, and you heard Coach Harper and Peter Burns talk about in the studio, Auburn weathered that early storm, and a bucket here makes it a one-possession game. The Tigers have acclimated themselves very well on the road in hostile territory, and Gaston's been a big reason why. A chance for three right on cue. She's got 12.
And Sanaya Fagan going to get called for that foul, but Gaston doing a great job. She does her work early. So when she gets down, she sees the ball rotating. You see Gaston starting to inch in and get position. Watch number 5 down low right there, already posting up. And Bostic, great delivery, right on the money. And Gaston is just always working.
Look at her numbers and how they have accelerated going back to her time at Texas. And really next level scoring this campaign. And Auburn's needed every point of hers today and this season. Going now to 1-point game. 3 minutes into our second quarter.
Well, mind you, too, Gaston played for Johnny Harris when Coach Harris was underneath Dick Schaefer at Mississippi State. So she's had that opportunity. She got to know her when Johnny took this job. I'm sure she wanted to take some players with her. And Gaston coming back for a 5th year was like, I want to go and play for Coach Harris.
And that connection remains strong through the years. Tessa Johnson checks in, and it's too strong. On the fadeaway.
I had a chance to talk to Coach Staley earlier before the game, and that was one of the concerns for her. Was what would South Carolina look like after having a week off? Sometimes that could be a blessing and a curse at the same time. When you have that momentum, being able to play those games, you just play through that flow. Sometimes breaking it up a bit, especially with a young team, can be a little hard to come back into it.
Palpal wants to create, sends it inside, Fagan, the reverse. The creativity of Tahina Palpal, the Oregon transfer, a remarkable job here in Columbia, finding ways to manufacture offense. You know she's going to find a way to get the ball in the bucket, and it's in her hands.
Well, that patience right there, and Shermani for 3.
We are tied at 27.
Auburn doing the simple things, making the simple plays, but we both know how South Carolina is. And when they get themselves going and get into that flow, I think Auburn right now has done a great job of staying within the course of the way they play.
Well, our big quadruple header continues. Up next in Baton Rouge, number 7 LSU hosting Mississippi State. We've got a top 13 showdown after that out in Norman, Oklahoma, and Kentucky. Then Texas A&M will wrap up the day, 6 o'clock Eastern in College Station. Number 5 Longhorns, Madison Booker on the road in that great rivalry matchup.
I believe you should be in front of the TV all day today watching these games because we got some great matchups. A close hit, knocked down. I think it was only a 2, but stretched the floor quite a bit and able to knock it down.
And South Carolina being tested against Auburn, their first meeting in almost a year to the day. Road trip for Carolina down to the Plains 2024. Gaston off the mark. Here's Palpal.
Watch when Pau dribbles the ball. Her head is always up. She's always serving the lane. We talked about creativity. And Chloe Kitt, this one will be a three.
Her third triple of the season, and Chloe Kitt with confidence. Back-to-back buckets, and this crowd comes back to life.
The crowd likes what they see when South Carolina plays the way they play. Chloe Kitt just checked into the game.
Boston, a turnover in traffic. For Wiley, the dump off to Edwards. And a 7-0 burst by Carolina.
Every single possession matters when you're going against a South Carolina team, but when you make a turnover, a live ball turnover, it is South Carolina just a hard team to stop on the move.
Tamika, I don't want to tell you that the crowd forced that turnover, but the energy, Auburn a little too hectic in the turnover moments ago.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The live ball turnovers at that. South Carolina just so good. 4 players running down the floor. They move the ball. They see each other. They make the right move, and they finish at the basket.
Less than 90 seconds. Run for South Carolina goes down. Couple of buckets by Kitts, and then Edwards inside. Wiley from the corner.
Look at that ball movement, the way they move the ball. It's hard to guard. Who are you going to help off of? You look at the shooting percentages, and yeah, while the percentages might be off, but I think some of that is just the way that South Carolina plays.
It's Jordan Hunter rejected by Wiley. Well, the all-time leading scorer in Keenan High School basketball history here in Columbia can defend as well.
Look at that right there. She goes by, but gets up. She just makes it look so easy. It's almost like she wasn't even sweating. Grabs the ball after trying to get that transition.
You talk about the depth. We mentioned the starting 9 to begin. Wiley averaging less than 20 minutes per game. I want to say she's well rested at this point in the season, but a lot of players on a lot of other teams love her talent and would play a lot more minutes. Oh, Kitts thought about it, then thought better of it. For Wiley. She'll get it back again. And a shove and a foul. That's going to be the second on Gaston.
For Wiley, looked like in that possession, she was the one scrambling after every single play. Auburn not able to get their hands on it. And that's what you call hustle plays. 50-50 balls when you go up against South Carolina are a must. You have to get those rebounds, and you gotta take care of the ball first and foremost. Raven Johnson wiping the ball down. Nice little I think next we'll see her sweeping the floor.
She can shoot the 3. She can defend. She'll wipe the ball down and help this veteran officiating.
Whatever it takes.
Here's Pau. The spin, draws the double team, delivers to Kitts. Off the hesitation, up and under. Everything but finish.
I like that move by Chloe Kitt. One thing she's really worked on this year is coming back, being more physical, being stronger mentally and physically were the things that Coach Staley and herself talked about in the offseason. She had done both of those. She's had ups and downs a few games back, and I remember having a conversation with Coach Staley. How do you get Chloe Kitt going? And she said, Chloe is going to be all right. That game, I can't remember how many points she had, but she came back, and this is what you're seeing. You evolve in the offseason, figure out the things that you need to work on, and then you see it actually in action when you get in the game.
Bostic, sensing her team needed some points to stop this run, will shoot 2. We've got a doubleheader. Speaking of 2, headed your way on the men's side Tuesday night. Top 25 matchup between Vanderbilt and Florida down in Gainesville. That's up first at 7. The number 1 Auburn and a healthy Janai Broome hosting Oklahoma at 9 inside of Neville Arena on the Plains. Here, the lead is 6 for number 2 South Carolina.
And Bostic now with 5 points, 3 assists.
Edwards. And Collins a rebound for Auburn. And again, you feel like the Tigers are in that danger zone here near the end of the half. Every possession becomes critical.
I think the biggest thing is making sure that you're getting shot attempts at the basket, not turning the ball over.
Full Wiley wide open. Oh, net from deep. That was pure.
Live ball turnovers transfer into live ball opportunity for South Carolina, and they are so good when in that transition game.
High off the glass. Milton unable to finish. Gamecocks haul it back in. Here's Kitts again. And now Edwards on the offensive glass and a fresh 20.
I like when South Carolina, they are very effective, and they get the offensive rebounds of pulling it back. If they don't have a good look initially, they do a good job.
Alpau turns it over. Here's Bostic. Coast to coast, a critical bucket for Auburn, 37-30, and Marshawn Bostic putting together a nice first half here. Bostic with 7 hits. The response on the other end, she's got 9.
They're leaving players wide open on the outside, but Chloe Kitts, good job.
Gaston with a breather. The 2 fouls here at the end of the half. Leading scorer for Auburn, 3rd leading scorer in the SEC. Daniels picked up, and the ball's going to be stolen by Raven Johnson. 3-on-1 the other way. And Full Wiley and Edwards colliding in midair. Malaysia asking what happened there. It's a turnover.
So that'll be the 10th steal for South Carolina. And take another look at this turnover. Powell comes out with the ball, tries to pass it up. So we have 2. Malaysia for Wiley on the outside for 3.
Now, you mentioned it. In my opinion, I don't think you're going to see the Gamecocks shooting percentages tail off as we get deeper into the season. I don't know that they got off the kind of shooting start that the team is capable of. If those percentages start to climb for head coach Don Staley, look out in March.
Well, I think if anything, we just stay consistent. You know, if the shooting percentages go up a little bit here and there, I don't really think that's what matters. I think really just stay consistent, stay within the flow. Right now, 10 steal defense is their bread and butter, and that's what they're looking for.
And an offensive foul, the moving screen by Milton. And Ukiah called for the infraction. That's her first.
Auburn trying to get that last play and dribbling the clock, but not able to convert when they got that offensive foul. South Carolina, Don wants to draw something up last 8 seconds in the second quarter.
What would you draw up here if you are Don Staley? And then if you're Johnny Harris, making sure you defend this, what are you thinking about?
Well, I think the first thing for South Carolina with 8 seconds left, yes, you look at the score, but you might get put in these situations down the stretch. And so you need to be prepared, and every moment allows you that. I think Chloe Kitts, Tahina Papau so good with the ball. In my opinion, maybe you look for Chloe Kitts. She kind of get her going. Malaysia for Wiley. Any player that you go to, and this is hard to say, I know you want my opinion, but any player you go to on South Carolina is a great option. Auburn on the flip side, they gotta keep the players in front of them first and foremost. Secondly, when the shot goes up, make sure that you get the rebound.
Got Ace Wilson over here. Does she have any eligibility left? You could try to dump it down low to number 22.
She might have had a 5th year, but
you mentioned Full Wiley. Full had his team for number 12 in garnet and white. The black trim today for Carolina. Edwards. Contact is drawn. Akinbalawa is going to pick up the personal. Next week's gymnastics doubleheader right here on the SEC Network, the ESPN app. Number 2, Florida takes on 13th ranked Arkansas up first on Friday Night Heights at 7 o'clock Eastern. The number 7 Kentucky, top-ranked Oklahoma from Lloyd Noble at 8:30 Eastern. It is Friday Night Heights, and it returns coming up this Friday evening. Choice Edwards, 74% at the line this year.
Well, Edwards already with 10 points, 5 for 7 from the field.
4 rebounds as well. I know you like those numbers.
Oh, yeah.
In the first half, comes to a close with South Carolina building its first double-digit advantage. 40-30 our score. A'ja Wilson having the time of her life. The GOAT, the jersey retired pregame. Let's get you to halftime and the halftime report right now.
Ole Miss, Vanderbilt. You told me that you were really intrigued with that game. Why?
Well, they're both right now tied in the standings in the SEC. We're halfway home.
The jump stop. Timeout. Last month. Finding ways to get the job done for him.
SEC Women's Basketball on SEC Network. The 2025 Pro Bowl games continue. Peyton and Eli Manning coach the league's best of glory in the skill show.
Oh, my goodness.
And flag football.
Touchdown.
Today at 3 on ESPN and ABC.
We welcome you back to SEC Network Basketball, presented by Pfizer and the state capital, the Palmetto State, beautiful downtown Columbia, South Carolina. Number 2 Gamecocks, the 10-point advantage. Begin our third quarter. With Tamika Catchings, I'm Roy Philpott. I'm so glad you could join us. Energy in the house has been incredible. Fun start. Auburn, the hang-around team to begin. South Carolina closed that first half strong.
Well, definitely. I think Auburn did a really good job of trying to stay within the flow of their offense in the first, I'd say the first 15 minutes. And then the 5 minutes in the second quarter, South Carolina got let loose. They went on a streak, getting steals, forcing turnovers, and making baskets.
Well, that scoring depth on display. The defense was as well. Dahina Paopao finding ways to get the job done for head coach John.
This team is just phenomenal in how they move the ball and find open players and make plays happen. 28 points in the paint right now. They have 16 points off of Auburn's 14 turnovers. So when they get loose in that open field, anybody's game, can stretch out, match that three, get to the free throw line, get in the paint, whatever it takes.
Well, if you missed the first 20 minutes, shame on you. Here's what you missed. Outside of A'ja Wilson's jersey, number 22, retired now in the Raptors. Deanna Gaston, the Texas transfer, 13 points. Leading scorer, third leading scorer in the SEC coming in. Phenomenal. There's 2 fouls. She sat on the bench the final portion of that first half, and that's when South Carolina started to take over.
Well, South Carolina started to take over not only when Gaston went out of the game, but when Auburn started moving the ball and maybe not moving it good enough. But South Carolina is so good at getting their hands on the balls and getting those steals. That's where they get those points.
Gaston in the paint was fouled on the way up. So free throws coming for Auburn's leading scorer.
Gaston's done a great job all season long, getting down low and making plays happen. When she posts up, it's really hard. She's just hard to guard. She's such a big target. She moves her feet and she makes sure that her teammate can see her number to receive the ball.
Nia Fagan just picked up her third foul. Gaston with 14 points. It's an Auburn team coming off a 23-point win against Florida on Thursday night. It's an Auburn team that was very competitive on the road at top 10 LSU last month. And it's a team that seems to be improving as the calendar turns from January to February. Hard to believe next month, March is here. Paopao back iron from distance. And Auburn collects the rebound. It's Bostic.
And one thing, we didn't see the ball go in, but what we did not also see on screen is just how well Dahina Paopao moved. When the ball moved, she made sure she got in a nice little window to get that ball.
Bostic trying to find a window. Fagan the rejection. And now it's Raven Johnson. Gamecocks shooting 55% from the floor to start. We're tied at 27. Gaston picked up the second foul. And South Carolina closed that first half in strong fashion. As Bree Hall's going to shoot 2.
Well, that call.
Picks up her second.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
they're going to say Dunk picks up her second foul, and you'll see Coach Harris on the sideline frustrated at that call. But I think that's one thing. This is only her fourth game with this team, so she's still learning the system, learning how this team plays, the defensive set that they have. I think as we continue to watch her, offensively she has that. The defense that will kind of get back into that flow and allowing her to fit into this system.
As she arrived in the United States January 11th, made her debut against Texas. This is game number 4, and she's put up solid numbers. That win against Florida, 16 points and 4 rebounds last time out. And certainly one of the reasons Auburn playing better and scoring more. You get Dunk a part of the mix. Sumbani, that's a triple from the corner.
Well, it's interesting. South Carolina sent 2 players basically to defend Bostic, trying to drive to the basket and left Sumbani wide open at the three-point line.
Bree Hall navigating, and it's stepped out to Bostic. 2-on-2 the other way. Bostic the jump stop. And Pow as it's stolen away by Dunk. Gaston against Kicks, finishes, and a chance for 3.
Wow, to see that last possession, the way that it just flowed out. Auburn, great job of tapping the ball on the offensive rebound. They're yelling at Dunk to go get the hustle play. She does. Bostic, great job. But Gaston, how she is able to go straight up, but the way she collects herself before she goes up, gets an opportunity for the and one.
Well, entering the portal, going back to last off season, had a sit-down conversation with Johnny Harris. She was one of the lead recruiters, her original recruitment, and the conversation didn't last too long. They were well connected, and what an addition she has been on the Plains. 17 points today. Short of the free throw, Sumbani collects the offensive board. Gaston gets it back. Up and in, and here comes Auburn. It is 42-39.
Well, I think she fits the system so well. To have watched her and what she was able to do. And you look at Texas, they are loaded. They have a lot of different players in her position, hence why she didn't have that many minutes on the floor. Now she comes in, and she is that focal point for Auburn.
A 9-2 run, Tamika, to begin this third quarter. One possession game. Here's Edwards. Kicks on the offensive glass. Back to work. And a strong finish on the reverse.
Chloe Kidd's always moving her feet to get the rebound, and she's long, she's quick, she's agile. She basically jumped over Gaston to get that rebound.
Bostic was hammered. Kidds picks up her second foul.
Yeah, so watch Kick down low. Gaston trying to box out, but she can't get another foul, and Kick with a up and under. A nice finish on the left side.
Chloe picks up her second personal. Bostic at the line. 63% free throw shooter. Coming up Tuesday night, SEC Network men's basketball doubleheader. Vanderbilt, Florida, down at the O-Dome at 7 Eastern, a top 25 matchup in Oklahoma at number 1 Auburn. OU yesterday, Tamika, trailed at home against Vanderbilt by 13 points early. Down 13. They won the game by 30.
So with that swing,
that's a 43-point swing if my arithmetic is correct, and many times it is not. But that was an incredible comeback win. Nice move in traffic for Bree Hall, who sprung free in the paint.
I feel like on the men's side and the women's side, we've seen a lot of that happen. You know, one thing Coach Staley even talked about before the game is every single game, you don't know who's going to come out with the win. Even though South Carolina has all these great players and, you know, can do a lot of great things, you don't know what will happen in the game. Auburn able to stay close. You look at the numbers, and off the stat sheet, it might not look like what it should be.
Edwards calmly collects it under the rim. And the easy bucket to Luke Swells back to 8.
Edwards now 13 points, 6 for 9 from the field.
What is her ceiling?
I don't even think we've seen close to what she's capable of doing. You watch the way she moves, and even her facial expression. Like with Asia, you knew when she made a play, like her face, her body, everything. And Dong, nice move into the basket. But with Joyce, when she makes the play, Edward, it's like stoic. So when she gets that excitement and she plays with that, I think that we're going to see a whole nother level. And Raven
Johnson delivers the third three for South Carolina. And the Gamecocks now 3 of 9 from behind the arc. 51-42, halfway through the third.
Raven Johnson gets her hand on the ball.
Mitch Dunk moments ago, international player coming in from China, and a variety of different moves we've already seen in just 4 games for AU.
Well, it's the offense that she brings in immediately, and I remember talking to Coach Harris. I think they played at Kentucky before Dunk made her arrival in the U.S., and she said, wait until you see this young player. And she had not disappointed.
Gadsden's got 21, her 11th game this season with 20-plus. Lead back to 7. Auburn, a gritty team. They've shown that on multiple occasions so far today. Sumbani hauls in the rebound off the miss by Bree Hall.
Not very often when you see one of the players wide open for a shot that they miss, but Bree Hall not able to convert.
Bostic surveys, finds Sumbani. She hit a 3 moments ago. Bostic feeds Gaston, a great entry pass, and Gaston the spin. That was smooth.
Over 2 players right there.
Kicks a massive euro. Boy, that was midair, the decision to make that maneuver.
2 South Carolina players running back on transition. Once again, Auburn not getting back on defense, and South Carolina, whether it's a make or a miss, they are going to run the floor.
Well, strides in traffic. Incredible to watch for 21 for South Carolina. Chloe Kitts, only a junior. 5 to shoot for Dawn.
I remember talking to one of the coaches, and they said they felt like Chloe Kitts was the glue for this team. South Carolina, you have a lot of movement. You have 9 players. But South Carolina, when you look at Chloe Kitts and what she brings, she can be that player that steps in. And take another look, Deanna Gaston down low, going to work. Auburn trying to figure out a way to get up. South Carolina up 53-46.
Black History Month here in February, and Dawn Staley, you go back to her 3 Olympic gold medals as a player, 96, 2000, 04. She was the flag bearer for the entire Olympic contingent back in 2004 in Athens. And, of course, coach Team USA, Olympic gold medal back in Tokyo. The 2020 Olympics transpired in 2021, and just a small portion of the many accolades for the great Dawn Staley as a player, as a coach, not only here at this level, but with the Olympics going back decades. Awfully impressive in so many ways.
Well, in so many ways, but the 1996 USA team, the first time I had an opportunity to watch Dawn, Lisa, and Cheryl, and I remember at that moment, I said that one day I was going to be an Olympian. 1996, 2000, I get the opportunity for the first time to try out for the junior Olympic team, or the senior Olympic team, sorry, world championship team. So I got to play alongside the great Dawn Staley, and she always talks about giving people their flowers. I want to give her flowers because she is so amazing in so many ways. One of the reasons that I wanted to play basketball to be an Olympian, but now the success that she had, not just as a coach, as a female coach, as an African-American female coach. The ceiling, there is no ceiling. She doesn't allow any of these barriers to break her down, and she continues to fight through. Highest paid coach, and she just signed a new contract. I mean, she continues to do so many great things, and it's fun to be a part. It's fun to come and watch her teams. It's fun to listen to her talk about her teams and her players and what she continues to do. And I can keep talking, but I'm going to stop because I don't want to start crying talking about Dawn, because she's just been such an impact. So it's not just myself, but we heard Asia Wilson talking about Dawn and her impact. This arena is full because of what Dawn has brought to this city. If it was not for her and the culture that she has created within this program, when you look around, it is sold out tonight. Yes, to honor today, to honor Asia, but it's sold out all the time for this team and the players she brings, the culture, just the system, everything about South Carolina.
I grew up in Columbia. None of this existed when I was here. And when I would come back and going right before Dawn Staley arrived, this was deemed to be impossible. Now, not only is it possible and probable, it's almost like the floor. And then each and every year, something even more amazing happens. The undefeated season, the national championship, Asia Wilson, all the different components, and what we've discussed even briefly at times today. You just ponder the question, what is next? And it was Asia Wilson that told us what Dawn Staley said to her, that brought her and kept her home here in Columbia. Chase your dreams without fear. Chase your dreams without fear. Powerful words from a leader like Dawn Staley.
Well, and one of the things that her father talked about is just the fact coming and having a black woman as her coach. That was also a point that you see somebody that looks like you on the sidelines. You see somebody that, yes, I have to face some challenges myself, but she faces challenges every single day. And despite the challenges that she faces, she still stands tall. Not in stature, maybe not in height, but and I think that's what Asia's doing. You know, Asia, Aaliyah Boston, we saw Alicia Gray earlier today, Jackie Young that was in the house. I mean, just so many great things. And for Riley,
that was about ready to be a SportsCenter top 10 coast to coast after the block to steal. And they're sent out of bounds.
And they're gonna call it a turnover. Riley Child goes up, nice steal, nice block.
Gaston off the mark with the mid-range. Chloe Kitts start off the offense with the outlet pass to Tessa Johnson. Johnson's been held in check. One errant shot in the first half. She was really key in the win against LSU going back to last Friday. Collins slaps that one out of bounds. It'll stay with South Carolina.
Well, I think that's the thing. When you look at South Carolina, it's not even like a player being held in check. It's other players have stepped up. Any given night, you don't know which player will be the one that will end up with the most amount of points or the most amount of minutes. You know, when Dawn plays her team and the system that she plays, all of her players have an opportunity to shine in different moments.
And Johnson's going to be fouled by Audia Young. Well, perhaps the most important question we asked Dawn Staley earlier today, outside of the impact of Asia Wilson, of course, this game and what's ahead of South Carolina on the court. An enormous Philadelphia Eagles fan. We got Super Bowl 59 on the horizon. South Carolina next week, leaving Austin, Texas against the Longhorns. That's an early game. I said, Coach, we know you're a fan. How are you going to be able to watch Super Bowl 59 and root on your Philadelphia Eagles? Got a Saquon Barkley jersey in the house. Of course, the best running back on the planet right now. I'm thinking she's going to a watch party. She's going to have a watch party. The team's coming over back in Columbia. She gave us the mic drop back there in her office in the locker room. I got tickets. We're going to the game. She's going to be at the Super Bowl after South Carolina's game next weekend. And boy, what a weekend that's going to be for a lifelong Philly fan.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun. Tessa Johnson, that's a drop mic right there. Knocks down her 2 free throws. But we have seen Dawn support this team lifelong for sure. So I imagine at the Texas game, she'll definitely have her Philadelphia Eagles outfit will be on. Catch the plane, get to the game.
It's going to be a tough game. You got Patrick Mahomes.
My homie.
You got a chance for a three-peat there for Kansas City. It should be quite an environment and quite a scene. She said she didn't want to be on the sidelines either. Didn't want to be part of that. Wants to be able to, I think, enjoy the game as a fan.
Yeah, I think she'll be on the field. Audia Young gets called for another foul, and Dawn will go back in the game.
Well, Asia
Who you rooting for? Who you rooting for?
Well, I mean, I can't say in here.
Okay,
I'm thinking
right.
KC's going to win. I don't want to do that. Friday Night Heights returns. Number 2, Florida. 13th ranked Arkansas this Friday, 7 Eastern. Then Kentucky and top-ranked Oklahoma from Lloyd Noble Center. That's at 8:30. This Friday, Friday Night Heights is back. Always great environments there as well. You see it every Friday evening this time of year.
I just want to go back to that last comment. I'm glad you didn't say that before we talked to Coach Staley. We might not have had the opportunity.
Correct. I know where I am. I know my lane. Lead is 12. Dom connects from downtown. Shows you the 3 fingers on the way back. Well, the lead back to 9. She's got a great outside shot, but she also creative and getting to the bucket. Full Wiley, speaking of creativity.
That young lady right there is a show stopper. Every time she gets the ball, you just hear the crowd just come waiting for that next play. And for Wiley, had her ups and downs, you know, through some of the games. But when she gets going, she is fun to watch.
Like Asia Wilson from Columbia. 60-49 and a steal. Raven Johnson ahead to Full Wiley.
Great hustle play right there. Tessa Johnson, South Carolina going to get another opportunity. And Collins will get called for that foul.
Who do you like in the Super Bowl?
So the team that I would root for is not in the Super Bowl. So does that mean I just pick another? I can't be a fair weather fan.
Back to the Colts is what I'm hearing.
I can't be a fair weather fan. You know, you have a lot of those bandwagoners out here, so I don't want to be that.
I understand.
I'm going with whoever Dawn's going with. How about that?
You like the Eagles.
Raven Johnson knocks down the first one.
Two for two. And the shot clock will be off for the final possession of our third quarter. And the Gamecocks outscoring Auburn by 3 in the frame thus far. Bostic with time. Stolen by Johnson in the heave. That is how our third quarter comes to a close. The Gamecocks ending on an 11-3 run. And the balance scoring for the Gamecocks. 3 in double figures. Raven Johnson right there 10 minutes ago in Columbia. South Carolina, Asia Wilson, the jersey retirement ceremony before tip-off. Alicia Gray, Jackie Young courtside with her in our first 20 minutes today, and such great energy. And well, congratulations in order for the greatest of all time here in Columbia in the WNBA right now. And yeah, number 22 on February 2nd, new favorite day for Cocky and for many South Carolina fans nationwide.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Gamecock fans showed out today. You see her jersey right there. Just such a blessing, even for us to be able to come and be a part of it. And for her to have 2 of her teammates, one from her South Carolina with Alicia Gray, and then, of course, her Las Vegas Aces, Jackie Young in the house. So great support from her, from the staff, the team.
Lob to Full Wiley, short. She wanted it. Ron Staley, the staff, drew it up perfectly to begin the fourth quarter. (62-49), and not the only number 22 jersey set to be retired here on February 2nd. Tamika, we would be remiss if we didn't point out Caitlin Clark.
Oh, yeah, Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever fave, too. But a lot of fun. I guess everybody thought that 2/2/2025 was a good day for the retirement. I wish I could have a private jet and just fly me from here to Iowa. I'd be in the house to watch Caitlin, but really.
I'll go with you.
Okay, let's find somebody that has a plane. Caitlin?
That would be amazing. It'd be a day for the books for sure. Gaston gets it back. A rebound and a bucket.
Gaston now 25 points. It is a special day, though. If you ever have your jersey retired, Joyce Edwards, great backdoor cut She thought she
Edwards now with 15. It was a little strong, but it went down. It's not how you drive, it's how you arrive. The basket's good.
Exactly.
15 and 4 for Joyce Edwards, averaging 12.5 and 5 rebounds per game this year. That basically feels like majority of the starting 9 for South Carolina.
South Carolina looks like they're playing in their zone right now, making it a little bit harder for Auburn.
Fagan off the bounce through the lane.
Well, Kimberlawa got lost in the defensive shuffle. Fagan did a great job. That was a nice fake. She could have shot the three, didn't want to settle.
You know, her production has been on the up and up since the injury to Ashlyn Watkins. And you look at some of what the WNBA has been suggesting about number 20, Garnet Black and White today. And she really started to make a name for herself. Lead is 15, 2 minutes into the fourth. SEC Women's Basketball is presented by Pfizer, the official pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine awareness sponsor of the SEC.
Of South Carolina.
Most anticipated player, Asia Wilson in a Gamecock uniform.
Rejected by Wilson. Oh, gets it punched right back in her face. There may not be a player that has meant more to her program, to her hometown, than Asia Wilson has.
What Asia Wilson doesn't realize now, that she will most likely be an Olympian at some point. She will most likely have opportunities to play for WNBA championships.
Now, there's no doubt she changed the trajectory for South Carolina basketball forever. Her entrance into the arena earlier today before the retirement ceremony, number 22, the jersey and the Raptors forever. Three-time All-American, the national championship, the first for South Carolina basketball, and, of course, the #1 overall pick in the W back in 2018. That just begins the list of accolades, awards, accomplishments, championships.
Back-to-back championship.
Unanimous MVP, author. I mean, we've talked about that a little bit. You got your book there autographed as we chatted with Asia back in our second quarter. A phenomenal day and afternoon, and a great way to honor one of the all-time greats in the sport.
Well, definitely in South Carolina trying to make it even sweeter by coming out with the victory for her. But, yeah, see her jersey up there hanging. That's awesome.
Maybe my favorite moment is Johnny Harris looks over the entrance into the arena. She gave a speech to this capacity crowd of more than 15,000. And then when she thanked her mom and dad, who were there mid-court for the entire ceremony, you can hear the emotion in her voice. And the great shot from our camera crew. Did a tremendous job this entire weekend with mom and dad, the full embrace as the jersey was unfurled from the Raptors about 2 hours ago. Just phenomenal moments for the Gamecocks, for Asia, her family, this fan base. And Asia Fulwiley with a steal.
She slowed down this time. Last time she might have been going a little bit too fast, so love to see it. But Fulwiley just so good. Her hand, when defensively, when she gets her hand on the ball, obviously we know what she's capable of doing offensively.
Hits on gas in a great matchup, and that'll stop an 8-0 run for Carolina.
And a much-needed basket for Auburn. Gaston now 27 points. Have an opportunity to get to the basket. Chloe Kitts trying to stay in front of her. Looked like her hands are actually straight up. She argued against that call, but Gaston, 27 points, scored more than the whole team combined.
A phenomenal improvement for Auburn and for Johnny Harris. Team that made the NCAA tournament last year. Joyce Edwards back to the line and a chance for three. 17 points on the board for number 8. Talented freshman out of Camden, South Carolina.
I like that smile at the end of the play, but check it out. Raven Johnson, great job. She just flips the ball up. And you know when you take it up that high, Edwards is going to jump up and get it. Great finish.
And that field goal percentage the last 4 games. And right at 17, make it 18. She is starting to come into her own in her first season in Columbia.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at her percentages and obviously even her minutes per game. One thing that you notice about her, somebody with a 3, but one thing you notice about Joyce, it's always within the rhythm of the offense. She doesn't force anything. She doesn't try to do anything out of character. She just plays the game the right way. And you will say that about a lot of the players.
Picked up by Collins, baseline. Outside to Kitts. You mentioned she's not going to force the action if it's not there. We saw that on display with that move. And Fulwiley traveled before launching the 3.
Yeah, she caught the ball and then she jumped into a shot. Got to put the ball down.
We're back to Edwards, all-state performer in 3 separate sports at Camden High School. She's led the SEC a good portion of conference play in terms of shooting percentage. And keep in mind, just a freshman at 6'3". Ten on the timer, stolen by Raven Johnson. Fulwiley again.
Live ball turnovers are going to be something that Auburn is going to watch this tape and look back. And Deanna Gaston going right at Chloe Kitts on this end. That'll be Kitts. That'll be a foul on Kitts, her 4th. You know, one thing, South Carolina, when you dribble the ball and you're facing the player, you cannot dribble and try to cross over right in front. You have to use your shoulder to at least shield the defender from being able to get the ball. Fulwiley has gotten a couple of steals that way. Raven Johnson has gotten a couple of steals that way. Their hands are too quick. You got to use your body to make sure that you protect the basketball.
Gaston 3 of 6 at the line after that miss. And it's about to get really loud. Chance for free chicken. Guess what?
Free chicken is wanted. Pull out your phone. Pull out your phone. You see everybody in the stand pulling out their phone.
It's going to be a lot of nuggets distributed tomorrow here in the Midlands. Halfway through the 4th quarter. And an offensive foul called on Tessa Johnson. Boston able to set the feet. And Johnson, perhaps lone Gamecock player to try to, has been unable to get going so far today. And she's had plenty of moments as we've hit 2025. We mentioned that LSU game. She has been a spark in a multitude of ways for Dawn Staley.
Yeah, but one of the things that you like about Tessa Johnson is that she stays steady. There are a lot of players when their offensive game might not be on or you're not getting those opportunities, they fall. But Deanna Gaston able to get that shot right there in the middle of the paint. But Johnson stays steady in the game. She's not trying to do anything, making plays for other people.
Gaston with 29.
She's already had 2 35-plus point games this season.
And Fulwiley just gives every shot a chance. She'll be shooting 2 when we come back. An emotional moment pregame. Asia Wilson with mom and dad as the jersey will hang in the rafters forever here in Columbia.
Season taking on Mississippi State down at the PMAC.
Flage's got to be very consistent for this LSU team. Morrow is a go-to, but Flage needs to be that for them at the guard spot.
20 minutes until tip-off out there in Baton Rouge, and we might be talking to Coach Staley if they're able to hang on with this win after the game.
TB, we look forward to that. Always an entertaining conversation with Coach. And don't forget the rest of the lineup. And we're talking about it. LSU hosting Mississippi State. Only loss for the Tigers here in Columbia last Friday against South Carolina. You got Kentucky, Oklahoma, and then Texas. Madison Booker and top 5 Longhorns on the road in College Station against the fighting Texas Aggies at 6 o'clock Eastern. Now, Charlie Cream, our bracketologist, gives us the latest on what's happening in the conference and the teams currently projected in the field out of the Southeastern Conference. In South Carolina, of course, a #1 seed. You got LSU and Texas. They're also in that mix as 2 seeds. The job Kenny Brooks has done at Kentucky. And Caldwell, of course, with the Lady Vols, a 5 seed right now. They are certainly on their way back. And Caleb Blake's Vanderbilt, you don't know what you're going to see out of that group this year. She just went for 53 this past week.
Unbelievable. If you have not seen Michaela Blake, Camille Pierre from Vanderbilt, I've had quite a few of the games, so I've had front row seats to watch that pair. Phenomenal. But when you look at the standings, one of the things that I love and that I continue to talk about is every single game, and I feel like every Thursday and every Sunday we get the standings, and they change every Thursday and every Friday, with the exception of South Carolina being #1. Some of the other ones have moved, but I think that's the parity within the SEC. You see it, you love to see it. You don't know what the changes are going to be, but there's a lot of great players, a lot of great basketball being played right now.
Quarter 3 on the way, and it's all net for Bree Hall.
And after redemption, she shot a couple of plays back and wasn't able to have an opportunity to knock down that 3, but she got it that time.
Daniels calls the contact from Bree Hall. Carolina's made their last 7 field goals. This lead is expanded to 22.
We're going to get a chance to see Adele Tack coming out of the game, or coming into the game, rather.
Now, we mentioned the even scoring distribution to the starters and the players coming off of Dawn Staley's bench. And look, it's the top scoring bench in America. And you look at what they've done today. The starters, a 2-point edge so far. We still got almost 4 minutes left.
Well, the starters and the bench are starters. So in a lot of different programs, we talked about that earlier in the game, a lot of different programs, you have players that could step up and be starters on other teams. But to be a part of this and to have an opportunity to grow and learn throughout the South Carolina tradition and way, I think it's something that a lot of players want to opt for. So Miriam Dowda in the game and Adele Tack, 2 players that have not had a lot of minutes this season, but coach is always talking about, I want to figure out a way to get these young players an opportunity to play. Tack has been injured the last couple of years. You see her right there, number 15. So she's still trying to adjust and learn and get up to the speed of the game, and especially the game in the SEC.
There's a great shot of her on the bench celebrating a Gamecock field goal against LSU going back 2 Fridays ago. She'll fall down here, trying to establish position on Gaston. And Adele Tack, stay healthy, certainly a player to watch. 2 on the timer. Tack saves it. And a new possession for the Gamecocks. Ball for 3.
Those are the plays, and you look at the bench, it doesn't matter if you're in the game or on the bench, you are still a part of this game. The celebration that you see from the bench, excited about seeing Bree Hall, but Tack, what a great offensive rebound. She's the reason that they had that shot.
Poked out of bounds. I want to ask you this question. I saved it for the very end because you had your jersey retired at Rocky Top back in 2003. So I want to ask you, what do you think A'ja Wilson will remember most about today? What do you remember most about when it happened for you?
I remember being with my parents, and even more importantly, Pat was there. Being able to share that moment with Pat, with my parents, my brother and my sister, my family, the crowd. Obviously, you look around, we're in a sea of that burnt reddish South Carolina, burgundy, garnet. It was orange. the bright orange. Like, I love that color, but those are the moments you remember forever. The jersey being hung when I go, and people even now that go to the Lady Ball game and will send me pictures of the jersey hanging.
I think I've done that a couple of times. I go in there and say, I've worked with her. I know her. Her jersey's up there. She's a Hall of Famer. She's one of the best all times.
But it's crazy. We get older, and as you get older, you get removed from the game even further. And I think being able to be on the sideline and being able to witness these young players. I posted a picture my first year doing this on the sideline was Asia's last year playing. And so being able to take a couple pictures, and we were just having fun, joking around, and now to be able to be a witness of what she was able to do her last season here at South Carolina, full circle moment to see her jersey up on the rafters and be a part of that. And we're not finished yet. We might have to go to Vegas when they retire her jersey for Vegas.
Somebody get me on the flight. I'm going there with you. And that sounds fantastic.
Well, Nikki Fargas, Becky Hammond in the house. President of the Aces, and of course, Becky Hammond, current head coach for the Las Vegas Aces, back-to-back champions.
One of the best basketball coaches on the planet, period.
And players. She was an Olympian. I played with her. Junior Olympic, and then, of course, Senior Olympics. She played on the Russian national team.
As long as you've known Dawn, and we mentioned going back to the Olympics, and I was talking with Rebecca Lobo about this for that LSU game, and I said, how has Dawn changed since you played with her in the 96 Olympics? She said she has. And I want to ask you that question. As long as you've known her, Dawn Staley today, Dawn Staley in 2000, still the same?
Still the same. Same facial expression, maybe yelling a little bit more. This is a different group than she's had for the last couple of years, but fun, and I think that's where Asia was able to keep that, you know. A lot of fun, intense, very intentional in what she does, the things she does in practice, and the one thing that she talked a lot about is how much she changed from a coaching standpoint. Before, it used to be do it my way, and I think I could even attest to Pat being a little bit like that. Do it my way. This is my system. You fit into the system. You can tell now she's adjusted, and she has adjusted to her players.
Gaston now over the 30-point mark. Give her 31. And that is a season high against an SEC foe, Deanna Gaston. South Carolina turns it over.
McDaniel stepped out of bounds, and Nikki Fargas on the left, president of the Aces. Becky Hammond trying to figure out what's going on, head coach for the Las Vegas Aces. I don't know if she likes what she's seeing, or you got to look at that next step. I mean, some of these players out here, Deanna Gaston, after her 5th year, trying to make it to the league. You got some other young players that I'm sure will make it and be in the WNBA one day.
The scouting and the coaching angle never gets turned off, I would imagine.
Now you're always looking.
Always.
Always looking.
So you can't go into an arena and just simply enjoy 4 quarters of basketball for one of the top teams in America.
I don't think you're always looking, and even when you come and watch a top team, the opportunity for some of these other players that maybe might not have gotten looked, they're getting looked at too and evaluated. Not all 12 players are gonna be starters.
Gamecocks led by as many as 23 points tonight. They've never trailed in this matchup against Auburn. The last loss in this arena came way back in 2020. That is a long time ago. And this victory today, Tamika, 70 wins in a row at Colonial Life Arena. I mean, that is staggering. It's amazing. It's one of many different categories in which Dawn Staley's program has been so dominant, with the national championships and home court advantage, capacity crowds, of course, the elite players' talent that have come into Columbia. 70 wins in a row.
Yeah, that's insane when you think about it. And if you're coming in as a competitor, that is yes, you have to go against South Carolina, and they're an amazing team, but also knowing what the tradition is here, they play at a whole nother level being at home.
Maddie McDaniel has been on the floor for South Carolina this last couple of minutes. I mentioned Dowda. And Adele Tack as the Gamecocks simply will dribble this one out. What a day for the sport. What a day for the number 2 team in America. (83-66) our final score. Carolina remains undefeated in the SEC at 9-0. Now 21-1 overall. Asia Wilson's number 22 jersey hanging in the rafters forever in Columbia. And a warm embrace between Johnny Harris and Dawn Staley to wrap it up.
Well, it's been a fun game to watch, and both teams came out and competed. That's what we wanted. Shot well. South Carolina, 4 double-figure scores, came out, put their stamp on the game, and of course, a celebration for Asia Wilson.
What an afternoon. What a showcase for the player that changed the trajectory of this program in Columbia forever, Asia Wilson. And we appreciate her time spent with us here at our broadcast position. For the Mika Catchings, I'm Roy Philpott. 83-66 our final score. Let's get you back to the studio. You can hear from Dawn Staley in a minute as well. Peter Burns, take it away.
Thank you, Roy. Great job on the call, and looking forward to Dawn Staley. Coach, by the way, show me what you're working with. The jewelry today was on fire.
My jewelry? I mean, this is what I wear every game.
Looking good. Looking good.
Thank you.
When you look at this game, it was tied at 27, Dawn, and all of a sudden it seemed y'all closed these quarters out strong. What was the message to the team?
I mean, it's really just to simplify. I thought Auburn played a great game. I mean, they disrupted. They made it very difficult for us to make catches on the wing. I think our defense won us this game. Our defense has put us in positions to win time and time again. We forced turnovers. We got some easy buckets from our turnovers. But I thought Auburn did a really good job at just game planning. Gaston, we had no answer for. So we have to be better. We have to take care of the ball a little bit better. We got to make better decisions. I think sometimes our team they're really trying to fight the selfish bug when you just have to take shots when you're open. So what you shot 10 other times. If you're taking good shots, if you find yourself open, you got to shoot the shot. I mean, because that's the rhythm of the game, rhythm of our offense. And if you don't, we got to start that process all over again. So I thought we had a little bit of that, and I think Auburn had put us in that position, and we have to be better decision makers.
Dawn, congrats on the win. You guys have been so consistent and solid across the board. Like you said, everyone there, kudos to you. They have bought into your system and being unselfish. But I do want to talk about Joyce Edwards, 8 for 11, 18 points, and how well she has continued to develop throughout the year. You know, when you look at her, what do you see from her?
What I see is one, it's not a one way to a national freshman of the year. You know, Joyce Edwards is the real deal. Joyce plays the way you're supposed to play. Joyce studies the game. Joyce works on her game, and Joyce comes out here and she executes. And I only say this because I see it and I know that's what she's doing. We quiz our team. She's got all the answers, right? Because she's studying the game, and I just love that. And I'm gonna scream it to the top of my lungs for players that I know that are really, really putting the work in behind the scenes. And Joyce is one of those special kind of young people that really get it. And she's gonna respect the game. She's gonna love up on the game, and she only expects the game to love up her back.
I love that. You talked about Malaysia Foali having that attitude as well, too, Coach. All those attitudes are trying to get to that point where 22 was Asia Wilson. I saw that special smile you had, like this proud mom moment whenever she was getting her number retired. What was that moment like for you and this team?
That was a moment of me trying not to tear up, trying to hold back the tears because, I mean, she's 28 years old and she's checked off all of her goals. Like I told somebody, she got to be bored. Like, what else is there to do at 28? But she hasn't even hit her prime. Like, 28 is not your prime. So Asia's got a lot more. She tells me she has to challenge herself in different ways to keep her, fresh and wanting more and more. There's a certain breed to the successful ones, and they just only want to be successful. They only want to be around people that's going to have that like-mindedness and wanting to be great. Asia's one of them, and there's no secret why her numbers retired. Her numbers retired, not her jersey, her number. There won't be another number 22 in this building on the men's side because the legend Alex English owns that, and then Asia Wilson. So no 22s in this building.
It is one of legendary stature on both sides of it for the men's and women's. Coach, congratulations on the victory. Best of luck against Georgia next week, all right?
For both of you, it seemed like Auburn's interior offense was really giving you all some problems early in the game. How did you kind of get together and start keeping them out of the lane?
I feel like after halftime kind of switched. Coach got on us. We needed to do better in our ice, and I feel like we made that change. Still wasn't the best, but got better, and, we can see what we did wrong in this game, and we're going to keep working to get better.
Hey, Chloe, you game tied at 27, and then you had those couple of baskets to kind of get things going, including the three-pointer. What changed for you guys in those moments at the end of the second quarter?
I feel like ball movement. We reversed the ball to the opposite side of the floor, and Leigh found me both times, and I just made those shots, and my team kept telling me to shoot the ball, so I was just listening to them.
Joyce, you were pretty vocal last year about Asia being a role model, about conversations you had with her during your recruitment process. What was it like from your perspective, just kind of seeing her get celebrated today like that?
I was just happy for her. She's like the embodiment of who a lot of us want to be. She's been there, she's done that. She went through the same things that we're going through now. So just learning from her, asking her questions, just absorbing all of her wisdom, all of her knowledge. But I was definitely happy for her. And yeah.
For both of you, you kind of said that you know what you did wrong. I guess what exactly kind of went wrong today, especially in the first half, and I guess what did it seem like Dawn was, most upset about?
Offensive boards, turnovers. Those are the main two things. I mean, I feel like we did pretty good stopping them in the half court, but again, offensive boards, it kills us. We've been having a problem with that, but we have to lock in. We started boxing out in the second half. They got less offensive rebounds. We started turning over the ball less, and we came out with the win.
Joyce, another game where you're leading the team in scoring. I mean, how difficult has it been for you as the SEC season's gone along to get different looks from different defenses and to still be able to put up those type of scoring numbers in the low post?
Well, I really don't go out there necessarily looking to score. Just giving what the defense gives me. But, it's just basketball at the end of the day. Whatever look you get, what you're supposed to do. It's just, there's an action and a reaction. That's all there is.
Going back to Asia, this is for both of you guys. She's one of the greatest post players to ever play this game. Is there anything she does that you guys try and model your games after?
Her little fadeaway, one step. I'll be doing that. I know she does that. So, and then it's also nice to see that she's not just a post player. I mean, she shoots threes, she attacks, she passes the ball well. She's really an all around player, and that's kind of how we want to play one day. Because right now we're doing this, but I know when we switch to the league, then I don't know, we're gonna be able to do that, I guess.
Yeah, like Chloe said, her versatility, her dominance, her consistency. Those three main things is what causes her to be what she is now. And that is what we're trying to get to. So just like we said earlier, it's absorbing all her knowledge.
Hey, Chloe. Obviously, good game from you, 13-9. It looked like you passed maybe up an open shot, and Dawn was kind of getting on you to be aggressive. What was she telling you about that?
She said I needed to shoot the ball. She said that 9 times, and just on that one possession, because I didn't shoot the ball, and then there was 7 seconds left, and we had to figure out what to do, and then no one was in rebounding positions. It just turned out bad, and then we ended up going down the other lane, and I think we fouled or something happened. So she was yelling at me I needed to shoot the open shot, but at the free throw line, Joyce was yelling at me to shoot the ball. She was like, I know you made 2 before, and I know you're not trying to be selfish, but I was wide open to shoot the ball. So I was like, okay.
One more follow-up about Asia. Both of you obviously talking about how much, you try to emulate her game, how much she means to you. Both of you played really well tonight. Just what was it like to do that in front of Asia when she's, being honored and in the crowd?
I mean, I guess it was an honor, like you just said, we did that in front of her. I mean, she literally paved the way for us to be here. So I kind of feel like it was a little bit of a full circle moment for her too, because she's watching like what she built, like what she created. So just as much as like I'm honored to play in front of her, I feel like she was just honored to watch us play.
Yeah, no, I agree with what she said. You're good. Sure.
Joyce, you mentioned absorbing all the knowledge and wisdom from Asia. What is one of the biggest things mentality-wise that you can take away from her, not even necessarily on the court, but one thing that really resonated with you?
Just her consistency. She's consistent in everything she does. She just mentioned, like, I asked her about like how she works out. The season's kind of short for a professional season. So like, what does she do to work out? And everything she said is consistent. She's just consistent off the court, on the court, and she knows what her teammates expect of her. So she puts that on a consistent basis. So I feel like consistency obviously is a big thing.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna, it looked like y'all were having a little bit of trouble early with Auburn getting some offensive rebounds, getting some second chances, especially with Sanaya in foul trouble. How'd you tighten that up?
Did we? Didn't feel like it. I mean, we just brought it to their attention. I mean, it's hard. I mean, this league is really hard when people do things really well. When we're getting people's best shot, they have energy. They have energy for an extended period of time. I think for us, we needed to turn up our defense. I mean, that's one way of controlling how many offensive rebounds that you could get. You steal the ball, there's no shot. You don't have to worry about that. I thought we did a good job just pressuring and getting our hands on it and knocking the ball loose for, some easy buckets on the other end. So that's somewhat controlling it.
Hey, Don, you've shared so many special moments with Asia, the unveiling of her statue, draft night. Compare your emotions today to those other moments when you see the jersey unfurled from the rafters and just the reaction of the crowd during the whole ceremony.
I think it was probably a more build up to this moment because she got a chance to share it with all the people who have cheered for her, who have impacted her, who she's impacted in a place in which she made an electrical place to play. So this one was probably little, and then the way it was lit up was kind of really cool. Like I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, where is it? I was trying to find it before it was unveiled. Like, where is it? And then I don't know if that's going to be the permanent spot, but our marketing people did a great job just with unveiling it and giving Asia her moment. Like I'm happy that we're able to give her flowers at such a young age to where she'll be able to smell them for a very, very long time. And it was cool. It was just a really cool moment to be a part of.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Asia too and the importance of her. We know the importance of what she's been able to do, but if a person didn't stay home and be a beacon for South Carolina, maybe Ashland doesn't come here, maybe Malaysia doesn't come here, maybe Joyce doesn't come here. I mean, she had to have that kind of influence on this state and basketball.
Yeah, I mean, what she means to our program is legendary, and is, you think of legendary as just what they do on the court. I think the magic of Asia is all the other stuff. Like, it's okay to come to a local college, university, and take on the pressures, because it's a pressure thing, and because you're doing it in front of all the people that know you, and you only want to do well in front of them, and you don't want them to see you grow, like growing pains in front of you, but it's just part of it. Asia opened the door for that, for them to feel all the feelings that they have, good or bad. and all the pressures that they have, good or bad. And because of Asia, we continue to get the top talent. And I mean, our fams, they create an experience that if you don't come here, you're going to feel like you're missing out, even if you're somewhere else. And you watch us on TV, you watch, what they say about us. If you're on social media, I mean, it's really a cool thing that I know that it won't last forever, but we're enjoying the time that the light is shown on the University of South Carolina women's basketball team.
Coach, 26 fast break points in this game. How much is that a part of an identity of your offense, especially in a game where a team like Auburn kind of hangs around for as long as they did?
We needed it. I think someone asked me, what do I want to see more out of our defense? And I said just that, just producing points with our defense. Like, we can guard you in the half court. We can disrupt you. We can force you into bad shots. Right? That doesn't mean it is automatic a score down the other end. What we did today was we produced points from our defense. We knocked the ball loose. We got steals. Into easy baskets, and it alleviated some of the pressure of having having to execute in a half-court offense, because they disrupted us. They were in us. They pressured us. They forced us out. They didn't allow us to just make, passes from point A to B to C. You had to find a way, and some of that was just having to go one-on-one. Just put your head down and go, and we dribbled a whole lot. So I said their pressure will be affecting us if we're dribbling a whole lot, and we did a whole lot of that tonight.
Going kind of exactly off of that, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it also felt like there's a little bit on South Carolina's end of just like not necessarily a lack of chemistry, just kind of like a weird, not really connected on offense in the half court setting to begin with. Do you think that is what fueled a lot of the transition offense? And I guess if you noticed that, did you think it had anything to do, with Auburn's defense, or was more internal?
Well, I think it had everything to do with Auburn's defense, because we promote ball reversals, we promote passing the basketball. They stayed on it for the entire game. Like, they made us go into our second, third, fourth options in our sets. If you saw a set out there, they made us go into our spread offense, where we're just reading and reacting to how we're being guarded. We had to do a lot of that today, so it's not all that pretty, but their defense was pretty effective. So, and we found a way to win. We found a way to put 83 points on the scoreboard, not having to run basically a whole lot of half court sets.
Hi, Coach. So looking ahead, what areas do you feel like your team needs to improve upon in order to best prepare for your next 2 away games against Georgia and Texas?
We got to find a way to box out. It's too many offensive rebounds for easy putbacks. I do think we need to continue to generate offense from our defense and by way of stealing it and going down to get some easy buckets. I do think we need to be able to handle the physicality a lot better. Like, the next 2 games will be very physical basketball games, and we can't allow it to be disruptive as much as it was today.
Yeah, Dawn, I saw right before the start of the second quarter, you went up and checked on Mac Cardell, who was dealing with some medical attention. Any chance you got an update on his status? And 2, I know he's been around here forever. Just why was it important to go up and check on him?
Yeah, Mac, Mac is family. I've known Mac for 17 years now. And and I just caught the end of it. I think he fell, and I think he was a little wobbly on his feet. And when I went over to him, he seemed okay, but our medical staff thought it'd be a good idea for him to get checked out. So I think he went over to the hospital, and I'll get a further checkup after I leave here.
Coach, Joyce Edwards leading the team in scoring again. It seems like a lot of her buckets are coming somewhat easily for her. What is it she's doing that puts her in those positions to score with ease?
There's cadence to offense. There is the ball finds who should shoot it. A lot of times Joyce puts herself in a position to where it's quite natural for her to shoot it, or she puts herself in a position where she gets the ball to the paint, and then she got 2-move capability, but she plays basketball the right way. When you play it the right way, it looks easy because it is easy, and she's just playing incredibly well at a really good pace, where she's seeing it and she's able to make really good decisions. And while I said this on a post-game interview, it's not a one-woman race for National Freshman of the Year. So I got to put a narrative out there that Joyce is doing some incredible things, right? We have a tendency to just focus on one, right? What she's been able to do in the type of schedule that we have, it's not easy. It's not easy. So I just don't want people to forget, what Joyce is doing over here, because we're not going to just allow, awards to be given out with no consideration from, our players here, for doing it the right way, for playing the schedule that we play, and for having a team that we have. You can find some really good players on our team to recognize. Yes, we are a team, because I remember when other people had great teams, they've had multiple people on All-American teams. So let's not forget about that. So I just got to throw that out there because I don't want people to think it's a shoe-in. You gotta look at the players on our team and what they're doing, in our game and for our game.
Coach, Chloe was telling us about a point in the second quarter where you were telling her to shoot more and some of her teammates were telling her to shoot more. This team has so much depth. Everyone's so selfless. But how do you encourage your players to call their own number when it's needed?
Well, it's not calling your own number. It's taking the shot that you're supposed to take. Chloe probably felt like she shot a lot more than she usually shoots. So now she gets gun shy because she's feeling that. And it's just playing the right way. When you play the right way, it should be a very clear process. Like, it should be very clear. Like, if there's more than, 10 seconds on the shot clock, there shouldn't be any panicking. It should be a very smooth process. And sometimes, I guess today, Chloe just play mind games with herself, right? And sometimes that happens. It's an unselfish act. But at the same time, if she doesn't shoot it, we have to start that process all over. We don't have the luxury of the time to get ahead of the possession offensively is to me the whole objective on offense. To get somebody a wide open shot. When you have it, you got to take it, or one more to get, create the best shot on the floor. She had the best shot on the floor a couple times, and she didn't take it.
Alan, and then we'll finish with Matt.
You talked yesterday about kind of the balance of energy versus execution when you haven't played in a week. Where did today's game fall on that scale for you, of some high energy moments versus some times and maybe your team wasn't executing?
Yeah, a little rusty. When you don't, there's a cadence to our schedule as well. Thursday, Sunday, Monday. There's a cadence. And when that cadence is broken just from a bye week, which we'll take it, throws you off a little bit. But Auburn did a great job. They did a great job. They did a really great job defensively, and they made us work. And, they had a player on their team that she had 31. She gave us the business. Wasn't hard to see. You got to give credit where credit's due. They made us adjust to them.
Matt, wrap us up.
There have been so many great atmospheres over the years here, but today, it's 11:30 in the morning. It's packed to the rafters. Everywhere we're turning, there's a celebrity in the front row. Did today feel special, different to you? And how did that impact your players' focus, especially at the beginning?
I think our players really tried to focus in and keep the main thing for them. But it does get a little distracting when, you know, when you're competing. Like the main thing was competing against Asia's retirement ceremony. It's a little bit hard. It's hard. So I think what you're seeing is is women's basketball at its finest, meaning we're popular. Like people want to come and check it out. And if it's their first time coming, I think Wanda Sykes is here. If it's her very first time coming here and experiencing this, I'm sure she'll be back. Like, I'm sure she'll be back. But it's super cool. I think Bam Adebayo was here. I don't know why, but it was great to have him in the building after he hit the game winner last night. So it's cool. Like it's popular. Like we need to, we need to recognize that too. Like we're at probably our most popular state, and it's a great place to be. We just want to continue to elevate our game and to be appreciated.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.